This is TWiT.
You wrote a great piece this week on CNET, Lexy, on Black Girls Code. Tell us about that.
Yeah, had the great honor of talking to Kimberly Bryant. She's the CEO and founder of Black Girls Code, and we had a really wide-ranging discussion, and something that's personally a big passion point for me is getting more women in the industry, and especially women of color, because, you know, we all know that women are super underrepresented in the tech industry, and women of color especially so. You know, Kimberly really brought some great points to our discussion that, you know, women of color have just been, you know, less and less and less of them are following through into positions within the tech industry. So it's, you know, when she was studying engineering back in, when she was studying, I think in the 80s, you know, the representation levels were around 30%. And now if you look at the numbers of women of color in IT positions and STEM careers, it's around 3%. So it's very clear that there needs to be a lot more representation, and her organization is doing some great work in making sure that, you know, these young girls are getting the support, the resources, and the education to do things. It's not just coding. It's everything from, you know, experimenting with virtual reality, getting into robotics, and even the maker sort of style of things. It's fantastic what they're doing. And I really wanted to profile her and just, you know, get the opportunity to talk to her. So if you have a chance, go check it out. It was a really great discussion. And, you know, we discussed everything from, you know, systemic inequalities, you know, how companies can better diversify, you know, not only their workforce, but also their companies from the ground up. Because a great point was, she brought up was that it's great to have, you know, tech companies thinking about diversity in hiring, but, you know, if the structures of these companies are not set up to support those employees, then, you know, it's a really uphill battle. So really just working out actually structurally how to make those changes so tech companies are really built from the ground up to support is the most important thing. And yeah, just making sure that there is a great pipeline of young women who are, you know, keen, ready to go, and super passionate, because they are, and they're there. It's just about, okay, let's make sure that they actually have a supportive network and a place where they can continue the great work that they do.
It's really true that it's a systemic issue. Racism is a systemic issue in general. And because it's built into the system, you don't see it. So you say, well, look, we've got all these black kids coming in and learning how to code. See, we fixed it. And it's not it at all. You have to create an environment that not only brings people in, but nurtures them and gives them an opportunity and gives them a shot. And I meant it when I said the last thing you want is a bunch of bros designing your hardware and software. That is a recipe for disaster, for failure. And you know, it's really important. I don't think it's something we should diminish.
You want diversity on the hiring committees, not just on the teams.
Everywhere. It's a systemic problem, you know. And I'm sure, Lexy, you felt that as a woman coming in, and you're the one woman on a, you know, team of coders. They may be nice people. They may not be bad people. They may not even be sexist people, but you're not in a positive, healthy environment.
It's really interesting because it's not just in the environment that you might think, like, you know, studying and, you know, in colleges and universities. It actually even has pervaded the workforce and workplace experiences in, you know, in the reporting on the tech industry. There has been a number of events that I can think of at the top of my head, at least 4 or 5, where as a female tech journalist, I was just assumed not to be interested in the technical side of the briefing. And then instead I was sent with a group of lifestyle journalists to that particular briefing. And then I'd be like, I think I'm in the wrong room, because all my colleagues and all the people that I'm normally with are in that room over there. And oh, no, that's the technical briefing. I'm like, no, that's what I'm actually here for. I'm not writing for a lifestyle publication. I am writing for a technical audience. Right. So I need to be in that room. So it's just interesting, those implicit biases that, you know, have come across. It's like over the course of my career, it has gotten significantly better, but there's still a lot of work to be done. And, you know, I think now the focus needs to be on diversity and getting people from a range of different backgrounds, people of color. This is very, very important, that we don't just have, you know, a monochrome tech industry, because if you think of everybody, tech is touched and used by everybody. So as you say, like having just one group of people creating, you know, the devices and the software that we use, is not going to solve those bigger problems. We need to have a variety of voices because there's problems that we don't even think about that are not being solved right now. And to have make sure that those voices are being heard and those products are being developed can only be a good thing.
That's exactly right. You know, there was
I see it.
Go ahead.
I see it in OPSEC, in the world of OPSEC, because the best red and blue teams are the most diverse teams.
Oh, interesting.
You don't want a lot of people who are very competent, very good.
Because they're all going to think the same thing.
Think the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense. This was a complaint people had about TikTok. I thought it was interesting. A number of black creators said, it's not an outright racism, but there's this co-opting of black culture that happens on TikTok, and the white people doing the black rap is what rises to the top at TikTok. And it's like that. It's so hard. It's so insidious and so hard to see it that it.
Same with the music industry in general.
Exactly. And I think of the contribution black people have made to culture is so, it really, frankly, outsized that it'd be a shame to just because of laziness or inertia, not try to get that DNA into everything we do, including the hardware and software, into technology, and certainly the point of view of women. It's hard. You say it's getting better, Lexy. I'm not convinced about that. I feel like people like Brianna Wu, when we talk about Gamergate, and the resistance from gamers to anything that might imply that maybe gaming could be a little bit more diverse and a little bit more inclusive, strikes me as a problem.